What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Glad to have you here. This video is made possible by my supporters on Twitch. Thank you for people who sub there with their primes, with their regular money, and for tipping, supporting. Without that support, this video would not be possible. Thank you so much. So let's get into it. This video is going to be about advanced farming and how you can make the most profit for what you're trying to accomplish in BDO, whether that be farming for this profit and selling to the marketplace, or that be farming for the sake of cooking. We're going to try to help you maximize your income overall for both the cooking, alchemy, and the just selling it to your materials to the marketplace for profit. So let's break this kind of down a little bit. First, we need to find a good place for our farms that's going to be efficient. So the goal in everything here is saving time. That's the entire theme of everything. Is the more time we save doing farming for less periods of time equals more time doing other things, which makes the activity of farming itself very, very profitable. An example of this is pretty easy, right? Let's say it takes us 10 minutes to our farms. That means over the course of an hour, if we had to do farming for an hour, how many cycles could we do, right? Well, we could do 6. Because after 6 cycles, we've done 60 minutes, and that would be 1 hour's worth of farming. Well, let's say I can do the same farming in 3 minutes. Well, in this case, I get 20 cycles in an hour, and the profitability is way higher. So in this case, I basically just tripled my income, and the only thing I did is I reduced the amount of time I spent on farming by about 66%. So how do we do that? First off is how long it takes you to actually go from your farms to the bank, right? Go from the bank or to the marketplace. And that's why we actually choose this location right here for Old Moon Farms. Old Moon Farms, they actually can be used right here. It has little red pegs, but you can actually place them on the ground here. And because of that, this makes it the best location for the distance. Second, another thing you want to do to maximize your income is you want to have an ult. This is my main character. So you want to have your main character at Master 8 farming. You actually want a ult character, and that is why I actually have a Zerker that I've been working on getting my farming up. I currently don't actively farm, but when I go back to cooking, I probably will start up again, just because it's almost mandatory for cooking to do some level of farming, because you can't get the materials at a fair price, right? So on my Zerker here, I've been actually slowly leveling him up over a very, very long time. And I think he's right now either Master 1 or like Artisan 10 right now. And the reason you want to get this character up to eventually to Master Farming is that way he can use Old Moon Farms. And then again, the whole theme of this is saving time, right? And the amount of time you're going to be saving is it's going to be less time for you to go in between your crops. And since just being less time in between your crops, you're basically saving more time overall. So let's go over, let's talk about like humidity. And obviously humidity causes bugs, which causes pruning, which means your workers being on your farms are going to be using more food, which is costing you more money, and you have to check them more often, which is overall a really, really bad thing. You don't want to be checking your workers as often. So we want the crops to go as fast as possible. We want our water to last as long as possible. And we want also as the least number of bugs as possible, because all those things influence their income. So what is groundwater? Groundwater basically is in the earth, in BDO. It is a factor in making sure that your plants stay watered, and that actually helps plants grow a little faster. I find that water doesn't have a huge impact overall in BDO currently, the way it's balanced, but the way you find it out is you go to the map, go up to the top, groundwater, and you can see where it has rained recently. I don't think this is updated quite right. It's not usually this wet. But anyway, you can see this, and this will let you know where there is a lot of groundwater in the game. Yeah, this is being updated. This is not. It's still taking time to update properly. And so basically, with all this groundwater, this allows your crops to actually have a lot more, water, and that means the water you put on them will last longer. And for people who don't know, you can put fertilizer and water onto your crops. And fertilizer actually increases the growth time. I still haven't been able to figure out exactly what water does, so if anyone does, maybe put that in the comments. The next thing I want to talk about here is the temperature. The temperature that you need for optimal plant growth depends on the plant you're growing. Some plants require slightly hotter temperature, which is indicated by orange and eventually red. Some plants need colder temperatures, which is indicated by a lime green, green, and eventually blue. And this does change a little bit with the seasons. During wintertime, there will be a lot more blue areas during wintertime. Generally, these don't change, though. Basically, right now in BDO, there's like 2 seasons. There's like summer season and there's winter season, and there's not really anything in between. So you don't really have to, you have to look at this basically one time. Maybe maybe every couple months to look at this, but this is not something you need to check on a daily basis. So first, what do most crops use? Most crops need to be grown in yellow temperature. So that means this area here, over here in Medea, has a lot of yellow, and over here in around Arhaza has a little bit of yellow. So those are the places. Also, like Ilia Island has yellow as well for temperature. This is the temperature where your plants will grow the fastest. And so you can plant them in other places, but they will be slightly slower. And the farther they are away from their optimal temperature, the worse they'll be. For humidity, this humidity is basically what controls the number of bugs that go on your plants, and this will affect how often you have to feed your workers in order to keep the bugs off of them and to keep them pruned as well as debugged. So you want to make sure you pick an area that is low humidity as well. So technically the best area in the game for your crops is technically over here in Arhaza, in the area where it has yellow and it has low humidity. So it's like right up in this little area. It's this little sweet spot. It is technically the best spot in the game, just like period. But it's way out of the way, and it's a really pain in the butt to get to. So the second best spot in the game, which is what I personally prefer, is actually over here in Serindia. Because they have yellow here, it's right near the town. You can immediately go in and put in the bank. It's very, very simple, straightforward. And you can leave an ult here, so if you ever need an ult for Velia, it's very handy. So this is where I personally prefer. If you're looking to do old moon crops, like I said, you want to put 10 of them right here on this hillside. If you're looking to actually do strong fences, then that area is not large enough. You can't put the strong fence there. And so for strong fences, you would put them over here in this field, either right where I'm standing. There's like a barrier before Heidel where you can't put them right here. So you basically put them starting around right here, and you just place them all the way down. And that's enough room for 10 strong fences in a row. So 5 on one side, 5 on another row. So that's where I like place my strong fences and my old moon. It's actually a really, really big thing to save so much time with that. I can't stress that enough. It's a time save. Now, let's talk about what crops. If you're just looking to do farming by itself for profitability, what you're actually looking to do is you're actually looking to place yellow seeds instead of blue seeds, or instead of green seeds or white seeds. Why are you looking to do yellow seeds? Because yellow seeds give the same amount of harvest as blue seeds, but you have to harvest 5 times less often, and you have to do 5 times less breeding. So this actually is saving you a ton of effort, right? So if I had to go out and harvest or breed 100 crops versus going out and harvesting, breeding, let's say, in this case, it'd be 20 crops, right? So this one's 100, this one's 20. I just saved 80% of my time with harvesting, and so that's how we can get down from a 10 minutes per harvest or 12 minutes per harvest down to, literally down to like 3 minutes. So this saves you so much time going from blue. And so there's no that basically right there, that factor alone automatically increases your income by about 500%. I mean, that's insane. So if you do blue seeds are going to be around the profit of around maybe 50 mil an hour. But if you do magical onions or just magical seeds in general, right, you're increasing it by 500%. So it's going to be like 250 mil an hour. Now, obviously, you can't do farming by the hour. Because you have to wait for the crops to grow. But when we say per hour, we're saying 3 minutes, right? And you harvest the farms 20 times, and it's 60 minutes for 1 hour. So what we're saying is, when we say 250 million, we're dividing that by 20. So every time we harvest our crops, we're making 12.5 million, selling it to the marketplace. And then we multiply it by 20 because that's how many times we're harvesting it in 1 hour of our physical time spent. For 250. So if you don't want to say that, if that's not how you want to calculate it, that's fine. But now you understand at least how I'm explaining it. So you can use this for your own calculations. And it's really important that you have that something you can use in your calculations. That way you can know exactly if it's worth your time. Because let's say you're doing something else that's worth 300 million, then it's not worth your time. So you can actually do the math that way. Actually, if you take it a step farther, you can actually plant hot peppers instead of onions or something else, because hot peppers take 2 slots, and so when they go to a yellow crop, they actually take up 10 slots. So you just have to plant 1 hot pepper per farm. So you basically save, again, another 50% of your time by changing. So, I'm harvesting 10, right, compared to 100 of the blue. So you just think about how much time saved that is. That's literally, I'm saving 90% of my time. It's a huge, huge, huge time save, and I really can't emphasize enough how important that is. Because that, you're looking at 15 minutes of harvest or 10 minutes of harvest compared to like 2 or 3 minutes. It's just insane time save, and that's why you also want to have the ult. Because if you're wasting 10 minutes going over, let's say you're not using an ult and you're using blue seeds, it's going to take you like 25 minutes to run over, gather them all, breed them, plant them, and then go back. Whereas taking me, I just change characters, right? It takes me maybe 15 seconds to change characters. I basically breed and harvest and plant 10 of them, and I'm out, and it takes me about 2-3 minutes. So it takes another player who's been inefficient like around 20 to 30 minutes, and it takes an efficient player like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes if you're a little slow and like casual about it. That's a huge, huge difference. All right, one more thing about time saving for advanced players, and also EXP. So if you're looking at EXP, EXP comes from pruning and getting bugs off your plants, right? That's the biggest thing, is pruning, getting bugs to your plants. So if you're actually trying to level up your farming as fast as possible, you actually want to place your crops in a humid area. So you want to pick an area that has groundwater, and you want to pick an area that has humidity for the bugs. So like around Serendia, around the swamp is really good, and also around Glish is typically very wet and it rains a lot, so the humidity is typically higher. So that's actually like a crazy good place around Trent and around Glish Swamp. Those 2 places are very, very good for leveling up your farming. So one other thing I wanted to say here is, if you're actually looking to get into cooking, you need to think about a little carefully. So cooking is a little bit more complicated, because cooking, you're looking at using the harvest materials in your cooking supply. So one thing to understand is that blue is, I believe, good for 5 cooking. So if you have 1 blue onion, that's worth 5 white onions. And if you have 1 green onion, that's worth 3 white onions. So depending on what you're cooking, depends on what you might want to grow, and you might want to change it up depending on what you're cooking. So let's look at Valencia Mill, for example. Actually, we'll look at Belnos Mill, because I think a lot more people make Belnos Mill. So we'll go here, crafting, Belnos. So you have Belnos Mill, and you can see here that we need grilled bird meat, which grilled sausage meat, which takes 1 onion, 2 peppers. So with 2 peppers, that's not really a whole lot, right? So you might want to plant green. You might want to plant green for this, or you might want to plant white for this. And for onions, you definitely want to plant white onions, because white onions, you get way more white onions back. And so if you plant green or blue, you're not only getting less onions per harvest, but you're also getting onions that are basically just wasting, because they're worth like 3 onions per cook, but you're only getting the value of 1 out of this meal. So you always want to use white onions in this case every single time, and you probably want to use green for these. But that's a little subjective and depends on the person. You might want to use yellow for this. You'll have to do some math to figure that out. But for the yellow ones, you always, if it's just 1, if that's all you need for the entire meal, you always want to use white. And let me explain why. So basically, harvesting 1 whole crop of 100 white onion seeds will actually produce a absolute insane amount of onions. I think it's close. If I remember correctly, I think it's close to like 10,000 white onions you'll get. So you can actually, that's enough for several cooking cycles over and over and over again. And all you have to do is 1 time. So if you're doing this, I recommend doing it in bulk. And what you want to do is you'll actually want to go over to a nearby city. You want to go to a nearby city and put your farms near a seed vendor. So if you're looking for a seed vendor, you can obviously pull up and search for a seed vendor. can honestly put one. My favorite place is over in Caltheon. So that's where we're going right now. So what you'll do is you'll go to Caltheon and you can plant your seeds right outside the town. I personally... There you go, Caltheon City. You plant your farms right outside Caltheon City, and there's a seed vendor right in town, and so you can leave your ult right there. You'll basically harvest all 100 of these, then you'll go buy another 100 seeds. This way it saves you the time of breeding, and also you get more product out at the same time. So a really good place to plant your farms is right on these trees. You can plant your farms all on here. So you can see here, this is a large fence, and you can see it does fit in here. And you'll have to be a little clever about how you get them all in here and where you place them. But that's a really good place. You can put them down. And you'll just run in here. And there's a seed vendor right inside on the left-hand side. You'll run in the gate, and then you'll basically harvest 100 onions, which will be around 10,000 onions. Then you'll come back in here, run over, go to the seed vendor here, and you'll buy another 100 seeds. This will save you so much time again, because the whole essence here is saving time. Saving time, saving time, saving time, over and over and over and over again. So you can see here we have onions, we have hot peppers, we have regular peppers as well, garlic. All the things that you would really need are from this vendor, and it's really, really close to town. There might be some other places that are a little better as far as seed vendors and placing your farms, but this is my personal favorite one, because again, we are trying to save time, and we're near the big city, so this allows us also to use the character that we're using for farming also as a character as a bank storage ult. So if you ever need anything from Caltheon, or need to put anything in the bank, it's already there. And as an ult, that's so important because we can just throw it into the marketplace, and let's say you're cooking over in Heidel, you can just pull it right back out of the marketplace, and then you're ready to cook right away with your onions. So again, the name of the game is always saving time, saving time, saving time. I love people say that the old moon fences are worth you pushing from Artisan 1 farming to Master 1 farming, and I don't think the time benefit of like the small fences is worth the effort, to be honest with you. I think it's just better to go with strong fences and slowly level up to Master 1, because you'll eventually get it anyway. And then you'll eventually be able to upgrade to the old moon fences from the strong fences. I don't think it's worth dedicating your time and effort to get the EXP, but if that's something you want to do as a goal, by all means, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I think I have covered everything for advanced farming. There's not really a whole lot else in here. I think that's about everything you can do to milk it. The most you can really get on most servers for farming is around 300 mil an hour. And like I said, that's usually really good to do that with like a plant that has a very, very quick growth time. So that's going to be something like maybe like wheat, or maybe Liciniums for alchemy. Liciniums are really good. Wheat's really good for Fruit of Sun, for alchemy stuff. I really haven't done a lot of alchemy, so I can't speak to any more. Anyway, I think that's all I have. I think I'll cut off the video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about farming, or you have any tips, any secret tips or tricks that I couldn't think of here, share them in the comments below. And if you have any ideas for additional farming videos that I did not cover here, or anything that I made a mistake on that you need to correct me on, also let me know. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for everyone who supports me.